Hey guys, Steph the Illuminated Nerd here. Today I'm talking about my new series where I'm actually going to be converting my office and my custom-built computer that I built in my first series into a much more custom-built computer. This time around, I'm actually going to be converting my Core P5 case into a Star Trek The Next Generation dry dock, and I'm going to be building a large size Star Trek Enterprise D and mounting it inside the dry dock, and I'm going to show you some pictures of what that's going to look like. And I'm going to be doing a collaboration with a YouTuber to set up a mural that's going to be the backdrop of that new mounted PC, and then actually help decorate the office a little bit more to be to sort of match with that theme. So I'm going to start by showing you sort of what me and the artist talked about for the collaboration. So let's go to the next part. So this is something that the artist kind of worked on and just gave me an idea of. Basically, we wanted to take my side wall, I guess this way, and actually he's going to airbrush planet Earth with some space background and maybe some glow-in-the-dark paint for the little lights and stuff and the halo, which should be kind of interesting. And that's going to be like the backdrop for the new PC that's going to be built, and the new basically custom case that's going to be built. And we're going to time-lapse him airbrushing that mural, so that should be super cool. He does art time-lapses for his channel, so it'll be interesting to do that collaboration. And then I know that the example Dry Dock and Enterprise is actually the original series Enterprise, but I'm going to be doing an Enterprise D, like the one that's right here behind me, that's going to be inside the dry dock. So for those of you not familiar, the dry dock is it's basically a place where they build the ships in Star Trek before that they're launched, so that way they can kind of like the engineers can construct the ship before having to fly them out. So it's just like it's called a dry dock. Same idea is, when on planet Earth, when you have actual naval ships, you build them in a dry dock, right? So this is kind of like a space dry dock. So and if you look at the top of the example of the picture up there, that picture, you can see how like the top is sort of a big flat rectangular piece, and that's actually going to be my Thermaltake Core P5 that I'm going to be putting like that, and just 3D printing the extra sides so that it'll actually look like the dry dock. Anyways, and then the actual Enterprise itself, in order to sort of achieve building an Enterprise, something that's going to be big enough to actually go into the dry dock and be big enough to help hold some of my PC stuff, we're going to be using a CNC machine. So the CNC machine looks like this. It's the opposite of a 3D printer, where a 3D printer will actually add material to an empty space, like it'll take plastic, melt it, and add plastic to an empty space. A CNC machine actually takes some material and removes material. So for example, if you had like a piece of wood, it would carve out some material from that piece of wood in order to achieve the shape that you want it to have. It can also work with acrylic or aluminum, which is what I'm going to be using here. So I'll start showing you what that's going to look like using that CNC machine. Now I have the CNC machine, it's about half built, so I'll be doing a video about the actual CNC machine once it's built, to show you guys how that works, what that looks like, before I get to the actual videos where I'll actually be using it for the Enterprise. But there's just kind of like a heads up of something that's coming up that's going to be really cool. So here's the next part where you can see I've got these. They're like skeletons of the inside of the Enterprise, where there's going to be pieces that run horizontal and parallel, and they kind of like socket into each other to create the picture that's above me, so that you could have like the full sort of inner wireframe of the Enterprise, and that will create a solid base upon which to put the 3D printed hull, I guess, that goes around the Enterprise. And if the skeleton wasn't there, then that hull would be kind of flimsy, depending on how thick you 3D print it, of course. But this kind of gives us the ability to 3D print it and glue the 3D printed hull to the to that skeleton, and you know, it gives us that that nice sturdiness on the inside. I do kind of plan on cutting some areas in that skeleton, so that I was thinking of having still keeping for the most part my PC in the Thermaltake Core P5 and just sort of expanding the case to make the Enterprise, but that I would still cut room for probably like a micro ATX size PC, and have like the micro ATX like in the saucer section, and maybe like the power supply could be like in the other parts, and like the nacelles, which are the two little engines, which look like these guys here, and that like those would probably be like water-cooled reservoirs with pumps, and then there'd be LEDs and everything. So that's kind of like what I have in mind that I'm working on. So that should be interesting. And you can see how like these are what the individual pieces look like, and then you feed those to a 3D printer, and then you can take those and then ultimately add. You can see the white skins. You can see how that would be an example of like white plastic being printed and then glued to the top of the wireframe of the Enterprise. So for the record, this particular file from the Thingiverse is actually a 4-foot long by 2-foot wide Enterprise D. So that will be a very, very large custom PC case that should be perfectly capable of handling any size motherboard if I cut a big enough area in the saucer section. The saucer section is something like 2 feet by 2 feet, and my Thermaltake Core P5 is like 2 feet by I think 18 inches, so it's pretty much the same size as my Thermaltake, a little bit bigger even. So I know that I could definitely hold a full PC in there. That's kind of the idea. I'm not sure how much of it will end up in the Enterprise versus what's going to stay on the Thermaltake Core P5, but it's going to be a combination of both, and that's going to be really cool, along with the mural. And then I'll do like an extra follow-up video where I'll maybe decorate the office a little bit more to match the theme. You can see I've got a Star Trek beach towel, and here's my onesie, and I've got a little bit more Star Trek stuff lined up as well, because I own a bunch, because I'm working on a Star Trek fan film, which I may or may not have mentioned at this point that I'm working on a fan film. So I've got a bunch of props that I'll be using for decorations as well that's coming up. So this is just like an intro video to explain here's the series that I'm working on and starting it all up, and the next video of the series that will be coming is the time-lapse wall mural. So I look forward to doing that collaboration, and hope you guys check that out once it comes out. Hope you guys check next week's video, where I'll be really reviewing the revealing the winners of the Steam card giveaway. And if you haven't already signed up for the Steam card giveaway, check my video a few weeks back where I'm giving away 6 $25 Steam gift cards. So be sure to check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.